All right, good day everyone. So this is Paul Lorenzo again, once again fulfilling a task for Sir Fantilio, for our supply chain subject here in Mapua University. So this is my understanding of the situational problem which he gave, which falls under our broader study supply chain management. All right, so case background, quantity flexibility contract. So Benetton has entered into a quantity flexibility contract for a seasonal product with its retailer. Let me just double check if I'm recording this properly. All right, I'm recording. So if the retailer orders 0 units, or at least O units, Benetton is willing to provide up to another 35% if needed. And Benetton's production cost is $20 and they charge the retailer a whole price of $36. So the retailer prices to customers at $55 per unit. Any unsold units can be sold at a salvage value of $25 by the retailer. So Benetton can only salvage $10 per unit for its leftover inventory. The retailer forecast demands to be normally distributed with a mean of 4,000 and a standard deviation of 1,600. So how many units of O should the retailer order? What is the expected quantity purchased by retailer? Recall that the retailer can increase the order by up to 35% after observing demand. So what is the expected quantity sold by retailer? What is the expected overstock at the retailer? What is the expected profit for the retailer? And what is the expected profit for Benetton itself? All right, so let's begin. So we already have here the following data that we have. For our inputs, we have our mean demand for 4,000. And for our standard dev, that's 1,600. Benetton sales price or cost should be 36. And then the retail price is 55. The salvage value for Benetton is $10. Retailer's price is 55. Salvage value is $25. And then order size or O is 3,931. Right? So if you're gonna ask me how do we obtain the order size, the quantity is obtained using the solver to maximize retailer profits. So we have here a step-by-step process on how to actually do it. So the retailer's expected purchase. So the expected purchase by retailer considering the 35% flexibility is calculated using the formula. Q is equal to order times 1 times your flexibility factor. Uh, and then after that, that will be resulting to uh, that number. And then the expected purchase is found to be approximately 3,931 units. So what's next? So the retailer's expected sales. So by applying the standard inventory for model for normally distributed demand, the expected sales are calculated as the following. So the expected sales should be 3,813 units. So the expected overstock at the retailer should be this and that, and then the expected overstock at the retailer. The overstock is the difference between the expected quantity available and the expected sales for the following. But after the detailed calculations accounting for actual expected values, so the adjusted overstock is around, as you can see, here, 5,307. So the maximum quantity purchase can be 35% higher than uh O or cell B22, which is 3,931. And then the quantity is 3,931, like I said. So for the output, so the retailer's expected purchase is 4,418. And then their expected profit, how do we compute for that? So retailer's purchase times 36 plus Q minus the retailer's purchase times 10 minus Q times 20 is 61,791. So you're going to get the manufacturer's profit of 61,791. And then moving forward for the total supply chain profit, so how do we compute for that? So we just add both retailer's profit and then the manufacturer's profit. So the sum of the manufacturer's profits and retailer's profit 61,791 plus 65,804 would be equal to 127,595. So that's pretty much over all of that. So this is pretty quick to answer because it covers everything much around. So in a real world application, and my key takeaways for this meaningful subject that we have for supply chain, this case shows the strategic benefit of flexibility contract, allowing for a post order adjustment. So it helps, I think, two ways. Number one is the retailers respond to demand fluctuations, and then number two is for the managers or at least manufacturers to stabilize production. So by allowing a 35% post order increase, the retailer gains responsiveness while Benetton gains order predictability. So, an example, so for example, in electronics retail, sellers often place bulk orders for smartphones ahead of the launch. Like, for example, the new iPhone is coming out. So, with flexible contracts, they can adjust quantities based on the pre launch demand. And then the suppliers can avoid overproduction while offering timely restock. So, this coordinated approach minimizes lost sales, avoids excess inventory, and maximizes profits across the supply chain. Thank you, and that will be all for my report. I hope you learned so much something for my report, and this helps out on how I can further reassess the following. So I just want to explain having flexibility contracts allows for post order adjustments. The model balances under the stocking risk are also known as lost sales. So opportunities and overstocking costs, also known as discounted sales or inventory losses by incorporations, by incorporating the retailer. I mean, by incorporating the flexibility factor of 35,000 to increase the retailer benefits from demand responsiveness, while the manufacturer of Benetton secures more stable production plan. This approach is applicable to electronics distribution, where retailers might order smartphones, like I said, in advance, but adjust the quantity based on the pre-release demand. A supplier might allow additional stock requests within a limit, reducing the risk of stock outs while preventing excessive unsold inventory. So this model helps maximize profits for both suppliers and retailers while improving demand forecasting and accuracy. So that is all. Thank you so much again for listening to my report.